Can you name some of the parallels with your own story?
My own story?
Your own life story?
No. I don't think so. Because these things are all taken from collective particles of experience and understandings of information you've soaked in, and then you assemble it accordingly. You shape anything accordingly as you go along. So the story is an example, but
you must remember where these parts of the story come from. From your own experience, something you read, something you saw.
When I was a kid, when I was 15, I was in a big flood in Pennsylvania. That's what sent me out to Arizona, where my dad had remarried. And the water came over our roof by 2 meters. So everything was destroyed, and it was a tremendous freedom. It didn't seem so sad. But I was 15. And
where lies the freedom in that, then?
You have nothing to hold you, nothing to tether you. You have only possibilities. You'll have only the way ahead
Ground zero.
Embrace. Yeah, kind of. That's a little bit. If you mean it as a term, yeah, but if you mean it as a historic event, then no. Yeah.
I want to go back to Vevey. Can you describe what happened there and what events led up to that concert?
It began one festival earlier in July in Berlin at a festival called Wassermusik, which is a festival based on water, obviously. But that year they were celebrating the deserts of the world, and they invited us to represent our desert, which is the Sonoran Desert. And they stipulated I needed to bring 3 guests from the area to take part in it. And I was unclear as to exactly how they wanted us all to perform, or either together or separately, or I didn't know what. So I chose 3 young players and songwriters and singers from Tucson that there's this whole new explosion of new young players in Tucson, all in their 20s. And they all seem so good, and they all join within each other's band. And I'd been playing a little bit with these guys. One name is Brian Lopez, beautiful singer, great guitar player, writes very good songs. And Gabe Sullivan, an amazing instrumentalist, can play anything, and he has the most brilliant rhythm attack on guitar. And also a great songwriter, very cool voice. And John Villa, who has a magnificent voice and a brilliant trumpeter. And they're all of the lineage of that area, Mex-American. And so I figured that heritage made the most sense to represent the Sonoran Desert. So we all went out there, and on our way out there to Berlin, Brian invited his 2 string players, and who lives in Europe. And ironically, one of the string players was born in Tucson. And then it turns out that they're both from the town of Aarhus, Denmark, where the rest of my band is from. So all these coincidences lined up enough to notify me that something was brewing. There was a storm, a beautiful storm, sonic storm, about to occur. And we never played together as that 10-piece until the moment the set began. Not even for sound check, because there was too many wires to hook up. So when we started the set, it was the first time all of us had come together. And that kind of gamble and excitement, that volatility, anything can happen. And it was a sold-out crowd, and it went over really well. And it was ignited by this old cumbia, this chicha that Brian had played for the end of their set that we segued into, and my rhythm section from Denmark picked up on the cumbia rhythms seamlessly. And it was called Carinito from the 60s, a Peruvian record that he had gotten from a guy named Olivier Conan on the road somewhere like a year before. Just this guy from New York who makes these CDs gave it to him, and then he heard it recently and then was so struck by it, and that in turn affected our band. And now on the new CD, half the stuff is infected with cumbia rhythms.